Casey's Corner, introducing you to small businesses in the East Valley. Brought to you by Prosperity North Advisors, a Kendall insurance agency, protecting your prosperity.
Hello everyone, Casey Kendall, Prosperity North Advisors, a Kendall insurance agency, protecting your prosperity. Joining me today, Bill Paden, VIP Mortgage, the Paden Mortgage team.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thanks for being here, Bill.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, Bill, crazy market.
Oh yeah, roller coaster of emotions.
You are a mortgage broker. Mm-hmm. So there's probably 10,000 things we could talk about, but I really want to narrow it down to your clients, who you're serving, and really make this about you. So, Bill, tell us about yourself. Tell us about how you got started in the mortgage industry and the Paden VIP team.
Right on. Yeah. No. So I, came out. Been in Arizona since '04.
Nice.
I came from California.
ASU guy.
ASU. I went to ASU, bleed maroon and gold. Graduated and
Swimmer there.
I was a swimmer. Yep.
Swimmer. Okay.
Enjoyed
That's
life.
Very cool.
Graduated in '07, right when the crash happened, the first crash.
Welcome
right?
to it.
So yeah, hey, welcome to reality.
Yeah,
You're in the big dog
adulthood.
world. Yeah. Good luck. So I actually I joined Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They were one of the only companies hiring at the time. In the trainee program, worked at the ladder with them for about 8 years.
Yeah.
Yes, very well known. It's like a crash course MBA.
Sure.
Minus actually having to get an MBA, right? And there's always the quote from Step Brothers, right? They give you the tools to be your own. Yeah, that
Absolutely.
quote, right? You gotta love that. So after that, I went to public storage. So I stayed in management, district manager, and then my wife says I had my midlife crisis. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, a young one, but a midlife crisis. And I just was tired of kind of working for the man. I wanted to be able to grow my own business. My dad's an orthodontist, growing his own business growing up, and I wanted to be that. I had that entrepreneur spirit, right?
Sure.
And also being able to be held accountable to my sales, and also be help clients the way I want to help them instead of some corporate ivory tower. So I left without a job, and I got licensed about 6 years ago.
Wow.
So I had no idea what I was going into, lost my salary.
Yeah.
Now I'm 100% commission. What do I do? Luckily, I had one of my best friends and another really good friend of mine that was in the business that got me onto a team at my first mortgage stop. I was on the team for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. That's where you cut your teeth. That's where you learn how to structure loans, because in the mortgage business, it's always changing.
Absolutely.
I could get an email.
Extremely fluid.
Yes, but you have to be in the trenches learning those processes, because everything they teach you in school is completely different than what's in the real world.
Sure.
So, was on the team for about a year and a half. Was ready to start my own team, and that's when I broke away. Was a one-man shop. Quickly had to hire an assistant to help me with the growth, and then moved over to VIP Mortgage about 3.5 years ago now, which is crazy.
Awesome.
Crazy thing. I feel like it was yesterday, and been able to grow my team. Now we have 6 on the team right now, 7 including myself, and have the systems in place to where we've been through a refi boom, right?
Yep.
And we've been through that volume. We're able to handle that and then some. So the growth that we're able to grow with our partners, with our clients, to help them without them feeling the pain of a normal mortgage process.
So we've experienced, I think probably everybody has experienced the market in some way, whether they're a buyer, seller, or even an outside observer. A homeowner now has seen their house double, in some cases even triple. So there's a lot going on, and I think there's a lot of people that are in different stages. But let's talk about what it looks like right now for either a first-time buyer or someone looking to maybe sell their first house to upgrade into a second one, and what that process is like, and what are some of the pitfalls that they can avoid.
Yeah, so first-time homebuyer is actually the type of client that I love to work the most with.
Oh, very cool.
Because I was in their shoes back in 2010 when I bought my first home, and let's just say the mortgage professional wasn't the best at the time to communicate. So it's all about communication when it comes to the first-time homebuyer, or even the upgrading, right? Because they might not have had the best experience the first time they bought. when it comes to first-time home buyers, or when it comes to your second home, or you're buying your second primary, it's important to position yourself properly to qualify for what you want, right? So yeah, you've seen equity jump up, so therefore you're not going to find the $200,000 3-bedroom house anymore out there. Even if you go east, right? Like even if you go to Florence, it's just not there anymore.
Drive until you can afford the payment.
You might be in New Mexico.
Okay.
But even then, New Mexico is expensive.
Sure.
But, at that point, like, just position yourself. And what I mean by positioning yourself is being mindful of your debt, your income, your budget. Right? When I sit down with a first-time home buyer, quite frankly, any buyer, whether it's their sixth or their first, I'm very budget-oriented, so I want to make sure they understand what kind of payment they're getting into, right? In regards to their income, because the biggest thing that we run into as mortgage loan officers is that the debt-to-income is too high, whether they have too many student loans.
Sure.
There might not be a payment on it, but I have to add a payment to qualify. I can't just take the $0 payment on a $50,000 student loan. Car payments, keeping those in check, or at least when you're in a $500, $700, $800 car payment, you can afford that because your income covers that and then some, right? That's the biggest thing that I have those conversations with, because ultimately my job, I don't even consider myself a loan officer, I can consider myself a loan consultant. My job is to give them their options and make sure they're in the best position for their success. And it starts from before they even talk to me. Having the right habits, being in the right position to then buy that first home, right? Being able to afford that first home and still be happy. You don't want to be house poor. And that was the whole point of the regulations.
Sure.
Right? So
sure.
That's my biggest thing when I'm talking to first-time home buyers or second, third, 20th home buying, like making sure they're comfortable with that payment.
So you talked a little bit about the refi boom,
yes.
Which doesn't mean necessarily refis are gone, but what can an existing homeowner do that is now experiencing that 2 to 3 times of equity? How can they leverage that asset and make that work for them?
Yeah, so the refi boom, what I mean by the boom is that the rates of the 2s, the 3s, even the 4s are gone.
Okay.
Right? So back then, 6 months ago, right? That's how fast the market shifted. Any person that would come across my desk or come to me like, hey, Bill, can you evaluate my mortgage? Perfect. Just send me your mortgage statement. I don't need to pull credit right now. Just send me your mortgage statement. Let's see where it sits. And I'm able to provide them with, okay, hey, if you refinance, you're going to drop your payment down.
This is the consultant part.
This is the consultant part, right?
Absolutely.
I don't want to pull their credit just to pull their credit. I want to make sure that it's going to be successful for them and help them. And almost every deal that you got across your desk saved the client $300, $400, $500, $600 a month, or maybe they lowered the term, kept the payment the same. I mean, it was just crazy. There was no, if you wanted to say no, you couldn't say no.
Sure.
So now, since it has shifted as quickly as it has, you have to be able to kind of look outside the box of how to use that equity. There are definitely still clients that I still service and help that will take advantage of a cash out refinance.
Sure.
Right? Because they might have missed the boat, or maybe they couldn't have refinanced for whatever reason during that time period, but a refinance still made sense for them to be able to pull out $30,000, $50,000, $80,000, $200,000 to maybe update their house, to add value, or in turn go buy another place or invest. I have clients I have a client right now that has a $3 million home, and he only has $400K loan on the house.
Wow.
And he wants to have $1 million mortgage on there, and he's going to diversify his investments.
Interesting.
But I don't think he's buying houses, but I think it's more of the stock market and stuff like that. So he's a very savvy person when it comes to those investments, and he wants to diversify. Now, if the cash out refinance doesn't make sense because you're in a 3.25 or 2.875 or something crazy low on the rate, right? Then there are the options of doing what's called a home equity line of credit, Heloc.
Okay.
Right? So they can be able to maintain their primary payment, but then have this open line of credit. Now, lines of credit, they come with different, they're not a primary mortgage. So they're kind of a little bit like the Wild West when it comes to, there's an adjustable rate, and they don't always have fixed options. So it's definitely...
So it might even be principal only?
Yeah, interest only. Interest only payment is what comes up. And really, it's if you take that option, then what I tell my clients is focus on paying that off first. You've got a great rate on your primary, attack the second.
Okay.
Right? So
chunk that out.
So like I have clients that might have a line of credit open that are looking to buy maybe the second home up north, right? Or a VRBO or another investment property. And that's sourceable funds for me to then source for their down payment on an investment property. So those are the kind of the options to be able to leverage. You know, the debt consolidation is another thing, because sometimes those car payments or credit cards, you know, let's be honest, life happens. They get out of hand sometimes. But the line of credit, more often than not, is either a lower payment for them to help their monthly budget, or potentially a lower interest rate. Credit card interest rates, I'm sure, are in the into double digits, you know, whereas a line of credit be single, right? And they'd be able to get ahead of that debt, right? And then move forward. So that's kind of the two main ways. The other way is to sell it. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's how you can gain that equity. Equity isn't real until you do something with it, right?
Absolutely.
But there are regulations in place to maintain equity in the home. A lot of those home equity lines of credit or cash out refinances, especially cash out refinances, can't go higher than 80% loan to value.
Okay.
Home equity
so if your house is worth $1 million, you're not going to get more than 800,000.
Yep, okay, exactly. So that's the whole point of those regulations, is to protect the client, right, the borrower.
Because we don't want another 2008 bubble burst.
Yeah, we don't want you shouldn't. You don't want to be underwater, right?
Absolutely.
And if, say, a market correction did ever happen, which a normal market correction is 5-6%, right, shift in the market in value, you're still ahead, right? You're not underwater. And quite frankly, back then, all the time they had balloon payments, they had interest-only payments. Right. There was a lot going in.
ARM.
Adjustable rate mortgages, those are coming back. Those are coming back because you see a lot more of the 7 6-month ARM, 10 6-month ARM. And once again, I have those products, but it's really for the savvier buyer, because you got to understand what could happen in 7-10 years.
Sure.
Right? Things can change. But the biggest thing is they don't have balloon payments, which meant that before the crash, they would have a balloon payment in a year or two. And the whole goal back then was that they just kept refinancing.
Yeah.
Right? To avoid
just
that
turning
balloon
that
payment.
paper.
Exactly. Those are, because of regulation, they're not allowed.
Bill, we talked about the individuals that you might work with and service, first-time buyer, second-time buyer, anyone looking for a mortgage. Let's talk about who you might partner with to help facilitate growth in their business and growth in your business.
Absolutely. In our business, the partners that I like to partner with so we can grow together, because I don't see it as a one-way street, like, oh, you got to give me leads. It's a growth thing. It's a working together. In the mortgage world, I'll just step back to where my business has grown. A third of it is B&I. A third of it is my realtor partners and We Serve, which is the real estate association. And a third of it is my sphere with my friends and my families.
Very cool.
Right? So I don't spend a bunch of money on advertisements or Facebook or anything like that. I let it naturally grow through my relationships. So when it comes to the figuring out good partners, I'm looking for people that are, first of all, hungry and want to grow, right? Same personality, so we can have fun too, because we're stressed out. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, you and me, I
lost it a long time ago. My wife looked at me the other day and said, "You got some gray in your beard."
Oh, that gray is growing strong in here. Don't worry. Yeah, we're on.
I like to call this experience.
Experience. Yeah, right. I try to pluck it out, but it keeps coming back. But my partners, I especially love to partner with realtors. That's my biggest one. But commercial insurance companies like yourself, financial advisors are big for me too.
Absolutely.
I like to get in front of them because they're like-minded. People, they have clients come to them. How do I diversify my equity, or what should I do?
What do I do with this bucket of money?
Yeah, right. They don't know what. So okay, hey, talk to Bill. He'll lay out the options. If you tell him no on all of them, that's fine. At least you know your options.
There you go.
Right. So, and then I really enjoy the spheres. I enjoy connecting with friends and family and even people I don't know with, but just tapping into their spheres and being that consultant. So when something does come up, they know I'm there for them.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
I think that's absolutely the key to anything that you're doing, is knowing that there's some stuff that is completely unpreventable, but if you know that you can make a phone call or send an email or text message or whatever, and it's going to be taken care of, or at least that fire is going to be extinguished, I think that makes all the difference in the world.
I have a client that works for an investment company that flips homes, and every once in a while they want to keep one or two of those as to improve their investment portfolio. They'll text me at 8 o'clock at night.
Sure.
I'm there for you. Hey, what do you need? Because it doesn't take me long to help, especially since I've worked with them for on so many deals. I can help guide them on, like, here's the payment, and they'll figure out their ROI.
Bill, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you? I know you're in Gilbert.
Yes.
What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Text or phone call, email, you name it. I do have my 480 number, but I have my bat phone too, my 510. I still have my 510, but
I still have a California number too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, shoot, I'm gonna have to. I don't have my 480 one memorized.
That's all right. We're gonna put it right out. Yeah. It's right here.
Yeah,
perfect.
Call me. Call or text, email. I'm really any way that you can possibly get a hold of me. I'll respond. If I can't respond, you'll get a text or a call back like, hey, I'm tied up. I'll call you when I'm done.
Awesome.
So that's what I'm here for.
Perfect. Bill Paden, the mortgage guy. Bill. Bill
Paden, the mortgage guy.
Bill, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
If you'd like to be featured on Casey's Corner, please like, subscribe, share this video. Thanks very much. Have a great day.